different form of the commandments that God gave to Moses and the people of Israel. And so what I would like to share today is to put this in the context of evangelization, because all these things that we just heard right now, they all speak to behaviors. How ought we to live as a disciple of Jesus, as a child of God? And in the context of evangelization, it's about our behavior, how we outwardly live this inward reality of faith. But when we look at the context of evangelization and how we reach out to people who have no connection to God, who have no understanding or familiarity with Christ Jesus, a lot of the literature speaks to us of saying, help people feel connected to the community first. Work on helping them get a sense of being that they belong. And if we look at the trajectory there of what happened with the people of Israel, that God drew them out of Egypt. He drew them out of slavery. He says, you're my people, I'm taking you out of there. He helped them form a sense of identity as a liberated people, that God had freed them from the yoke of slavery. And there was an event that helped them solidify that identity, that togetherness, and that identity as God's people, and that was crossing the Red Sea and moving towards the Promised Land. This whole sense that this happened to our people. Our people were saved by God, and we passed through the Red Sea on dry ground. What is He doing? What's God doing in our lives? The same thing is true with Jesus' work with His disciples. He first calls these people together with His preaching, His desire to invite them. Even with the protestations of some of them, Lord, depart from me, I'm a sinful man. Jesus says, no, follow me, I'll make you a fisher of men. A sense of wanting to connect them to His person. And as they are there with this identity of being together as either the people of Israel or the disciples of Jesus, Jesus begins to instruct them, or God begins to instruct them through His laws, to say that now that you have the sense of who you are, then this is how we are to live. And it's a reminder to us that when we are working with someone, or when we meet someone who has no real understanding of Jesus or His mission, no real connection to God, then the first thing for us is to help them get that, to establish that connection. Help them find this connection to Christ Jesus. And then as we journey with them, and they have this encounter, to say, okay now, how does this affect your life? Now for us during Lent, it's a great reminder to say, well, how have I been doing this last year? Have I really been identifying myself as a child of God, as a disciple of Jesus? And I'm sure most of us would say, yeah, for a good part, yes. But there are other things about our life that we can say, no. And we take this time of Lent to work on improving those. And in so doing, to really strengthen that identity in our own lives. And so perhaps during this Lenten season, as we think about conversion, we heard that in our collect, our opening prayer today. Convert us, O Lord. Help us turn back to you. As we contemplate those we meet around us, to say, how can I help them encounter Christ Jesus? How can I help them to encounter this wonderful person who can broaden their horizon with new life and bring a whole new reality, a whole new depth to life? And through that, then, help those who have this encounter to say, now how do I live that out? How do I express that in my daily life? And a journey with them as they make that understanding. So it's great that this reading comes to us right at the beginning of Lent. It gives us a great opportunity in the next, 37 days to contemplate how we might live out our own call to be a disciple, but how we might help others on their journey towards discipleship.